Welcome back in. Arizona AG Mark Brnovich joins us now, and appreciate you joining us. I know you're probably very disappointed in the Supreme Court decision on Remain in Mexico. Where does this leave us for those of us who are concerned about border security? And what does it mean in particular for your state of Arizona now that you've had a little bit of time to digest the ruling?
Yeah, I think it's very disappointing because the Supreme Court essentially said the Biden administration can end the Trump-era Remain in Mexico program. It's very disappointing because the Biden administration has completely abandoned the rule of law at the border. And so, we were successful when our office sued to have Title 42 remain in place. So that's one of the tools. But the Remain in Mexico policy was one of the policies that was helping at least partially stem what's going on in the border. And so as the Biden administration continues to, basically decriminalize and incentivize people coming over here, when the court strikes down this Remain in Mexico policy, that is sending a message to people that want to illegally enter our country all over that it's okay to do it. And so, it wasn't the end-all, be-all, but it was one of the first things Joe Biden got rid of, and he was sending a message to people that he wasn't going to enforce border security. And so I think that it's obviously dangerous because border security is national security, and I think that Joe Biden has demonstrated that they're not just trying to abolish ICE, he's basically trying to destroy our whole southern border.
Attorney General Brnovich, we often look at the border situation first and foremost from the perspective of how many illegal aliens have crossed over, and these are important numbers. We should all know this. A part of it that I think gets far less attention, and is also very important when we're speaking about border security, is interior enforcement of immigration laws. Essentially, the people who are being let into the United States after crossing in illegally, and this goes a little bit to the Supreme Court decision today, which I think was wrongly decided, but nonetheless, are there active deportations going on, for example, within your state at levels that are similar to what they were under the Trump administration? Have they dropped considerably? Because I think that's also a place where we can see, do they want illegal immigration to stop, or are they okay with it in the Biden White House?
And that's exactly one of the issues, one of the problems, is because they aren't deporting folks. And in fact, one of our lawsuits involving their interim and then the permanent guidance of the Biden administration was the fact that under the U.S. Code in Title 48, it says someone shall be deported within 90 days of a deportation order. And there are more than 1 million people in the country right now with deportation orders that the Biden administration is refusing to deport. And so these are folks, like literally you have situations where people are being released from jails, from prisons, and they're just being released into our community with paperwork to go report to a probation office somewhere. And, who knows if they're going to and not going to. And I know from even talking to some of the folks I know in federal law enforcement that even recently here in Arizona, there was a group of a dozen folks from a country on our terror watch list from the Middle East that came over, and before they could be interviewed or questioned, they were released. And no one has any idea where those dozen people are going or where they're at. So that's the kind of stuff that should keep you up at night. It's not only these people being released in our community, which I call the decriminalization and incentivization. At the same time, you have these more than 400,000 gotaways of people that are trying to evade capture and detection. Because I've been to the southern border numerous times, and you have people literally coming over with their roller baggage, their luggage. They surrender to the border patrol. They're put in a van. They're processed, and then they're just released. But then you have these other folks. The population of Arlington, Virginia, the population of Arlington, Virginia, who literally are crossing 110-degree desert in Texas and Arizona, crossing 20 miles of desert, smuggling drugs and smuggling themselves into the country. And you have to ask yourself, what do those gotaways have in store for the United States? And that's the problem, guys. This is like a ticking time bomb, and we are going to pay the cost not only fiscally, but we're going to pay the cost in lost American lives as a result of the drugs and fentanyl, and as a result of these gang members and terrorists coming across our border.
Mark Kelly is up for re-election here in November. I know you're running along with many other Republicans to potentially oppose him. How monumental is this Senate race in Arizona, given how tight everything is right now, 50-50 in the Senate? how vulnerable Kelly is, and the disappointment coming off of 2020 in Arizona. For people who don't live in your state, can you contextualize us just how important this race is?
I tell folks all the time that Arizonans want an Arizona senator representing them. And Mark Kelly votes with Chuck Schumer 97% of the time. And I always add to people, he votes with Bernie Sanders 9 out of 10 times. And my goodness, guys, even Bernie's wife doesn't agree with him 9 out of 10 times. And that's the thing. So Mark Kelly represents those East Coast values. But when you have candidates that can't stand up and, give a punch and take a punch and articulate and defend conservative values, we lose. I'm very proud of the fact that in 2018, I actually was outspent, and I got more votes than Sinema or McSally in the 2018 election cycle because I'm a known entity. I grew up here in Arizona. I'm a first-generation American. I live in the same neighborhood I grew up in, and I'm a principled conservative. 10 out of 10 times, people know what I stand for and what I believe, and that's what it's going to take to beat Mark Kelly. I mean, Arizona has a long history of rejecting self-funders, and if there's one thing we hate more than self-funders, it's people from California and East Coast trying to buy a Senate seat.
Attorney General Brnovich, I don't know how much of a sports fan you are. I am a big
huge sports fan.
Okay. Sports fan. So you may have seen this news, you may not have. I may be breaking it for you right now. There are reports that UCLA and USC are leaving the Pac-12, and they would be joining the Big Ten. So the Big Ten would be expanding from 14 to 16 teams. For those of you out there listening who are sports fans, this would be a big deal. You are in the state of Arizona. Arizona and Arizona State are in the Pac-12. Do you have any sort of reaction, both as a sports fan and maybe as a lawyer who represents Arizona interests, on that story that is just breaking right now as we are talking with you?
Okay, I don't know how much time we have, but first and foremost, I actually, because I used to be the state gaming director at one point, so I know a lot about sports and sports gambling. So I actually supported New Jersey's lawsuit against the NCAA when they struck down the federal prohibitions on sports gambling.
Yeah, that was I was there, by the way, AG Brnovich, in the Supreme Court watching that argument. That's the only Supreme Court argument I've ever watched in person. So that was a big win for New Jersey, striking down PASPA. To allow sports gambling, but just a background.
We joined and supported that lawsuit, and next time I'm at the Supreme Court, you should come as one of my guests. It'll be a lot fun. It'll be fun because you'll be the only other guy wearing Adidas high tops along with me. And I supported the right of the athletes to get paid and compensated for using their image, likeness, and name. So I have a healthy distrust of the NCAA. I do think it's a cartel, and my initial reaction is, my goodness, the Big Ten. When I think of the Big Ten, I think of Wisconsin, Michigan versus Ohio State, the snow and, the big offensive linemen and, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, right? Woody Hayes, Bo Schembechler, all that stuff, Barry Alvarez. So you think of that when I think of the Big Ten. I don't think of the West Coast and passing. And I'll tell you, I'm a Sun Devil. I went to ASU. I grew up a huge Sun Devil fan. And we used to have a saying out here that the Trojans suck. Even the Pope hates condoms. So I don't care can I say that on the air? I don't know. But my point is that, I've never been a big fan of the University of Spoiled Children. And look, there's a lot of reasons to dislike LA, and USC and UCLA are two of them.
AG Brnovich.
Oh, that is awesome.
Sir, thank you. The Attorney General of the state of Arizona, thank you for being with us, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys, as always. Thank you very much.